Oh, what a week this has been. Sad in so many ways. The deadly consequences of Joe Biden's border crisis are being felt all across the country. 2 illegals arrested for the brutal murder of a 12-year-old girl in Texas, one of which was released into the U.S. just weeks prior after illegally crossing into this country. Meanwhile, 5 illegals in Missouri, hundreds of miles from the border, charged with the kidnapping of a 14-year-old girl that apparently they wanted to traffic. And in a shocking report that should disturb every American, hundreds of illegals from the ISIS hotbed of Tajikistan have entered the country since Biden took office, on top of Iran and Syria and Yemen and Egypt, Afghanistan, China and Russia. Now, sadly, these are only the latest examples of the dangerous consequences of Biden's open borders agenda. Take a look at your screen. A shocking number of our fellow Americans have been brutally killed by illegals under Joe's failed and weak leadership. We'll continue to scroll their names because the White House and the left, they don't talk about it. They don't mention their names. It's not Lincoln Riley, Joe. It's Laken Riley. They have largely been silent about all of these innocent Americans who lost their lives at the hands of Joe Biden's unvetted illegal immigrants coming from 180 countries total. Here with reaction is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is with us. Senator, great to have you back. Let me go through this. So you have a 12-year-old girl strangled and dumped in a river. 13-year-old girl raped in broad daylight in Queens, New York, videotaped by the rapist. You have the 5 kidnappers of this 14-year-old girl allegedly to traffic this girl. You have Rachel Morin. I had her mother on the show this week, a mother of 5, and on top of the 8, people arrested that have ties to ISIS. And I'm thinking we have over 11 million unvetted people. Now, to me, and I pray to God I'm wrong, Senator, it's a matter of when, not if. This country's going to experience another 9/11. It's inevitable. This is a clear and present danger to the country. But Joe told us this week he's going to support amnesty and then told us he secured the border, like they've lied to us for 3 years. Your reaction to all of it?
I agree with you. I think terrorism is of great concern. And I think, with dozens and dozens, over almost 200 people coming in from other countries, you see the list, you see the interviews, Tajikistan, Egypt, Tunisia, all over the Middle East, China, from all over the place. But it's not
Iran.
just terrorism. It's regular domestic criminal, behavior. It should be enough to disqualify Biden from consideration. Imagine the images if people in America can figure out and know that people like Laken Riley were killed by someone that President Biden's administration specifically allowed to come in. They paroled them. They made the decision that it was okay for them to come into this country. And then when they were arrested for a variety of crimes when they were here, nobody did anything about it because they were in Democrat cities that are sanctuary cities, that being arrested for a crime is not enough to be deported. In fact, they prevent the immigration authorities from seeing the arrest records. So, yeah, this is all on Biden's shoulders. And then he comes forward with a reform and he says, oh, yeah, this is the bipartisan reform. We'll let 2,500 people in a day and then we'll get serious. Well, 2,500 people a day is 900,000 people. Biden has the power to have 0. And that's what I would do. I think that's what Trump would do. 0. We start at 0, and we don't let anybody get paroled. Everybody is turned around. And guess what? They quit coming once they see that people are being turned away. And that's what has to happen.
And 62% of Americans want all these people that enter the country illegally to be deported, and they're not wrong. If you don't respect our laws, our borders, our sovereignty, and you jump the line, you shouldn't be rewarded by being allowed to stay here. 4 times by my count, our FBI director has warned about the threat level never being this high. 4 times. But yet, I wonder, and maybe you have an answer to it, why isn't the FBI gone to the administration and insist they enforce our laws and secure our border, considering the countries you mentioned? I'll add Iran, Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan. You mentioned Russia and China. 30,000 communist Chinese nationals. They're buying up farmland, ranch land, acres by the thousand, land near military installations. Could I go to China and do that, Senator?
You know what we do is we get distracted. The FBI gets distracted. They're involved with censoring speech. We have the FBI talking to social media platforms and spending time there. We have the FBI, the State Department, and others involved with climate change. We have the FBI involved with looking for white supremacy where it doesn't exist. So the Democrats have commissioned the FBI to do censorship, look for white supremacy, and get involved with climate change. The State Department, it seems like half of what the State Department does anymore is climate change, or promoting sort of gay rights in capitals around the world. They've lost their primary focus, and this is the result, and this is where we are now. But I think they've definitely lost their focus, and there is a danger, particularly with this open and porous border, of a terrorist attack.
Yes, Senator, I agree. By the way, I hope everyone gets your book, Deception, because you really expose Dr. Fauci and the NIH and what they knew and when they knew it and how we were all lied to as it relates to many of the things related to COVID. Thank you, Senator, for being with us. We appreciate your time.